What I was trying to tell you about before, Bloom.
What? What is it?
You see, honey, we talked to you about being adopted, but what we didn't talk about was that day in the fire when I found you.
Huh? What do you mean you found me in a fire? What was I doing there?
We don't know, Bloom. I heard a voice calling to me.
A voice?
It was a 4-alarmer. 4 blocks burning and no way to stop it. But when I picked you up, the whole fire went out, just like that. You clearly had the most powerful and amazing magic, but it never came back after that.
Why didn't you tell me about it before? Did you think that there was something weird or wrong with me? That I wasn't normal?
No, Bloom, of course not.
When you told me about being adopted, why didn't you tell me about this too?
We were going to, but since the magic never came back, we thought we'd wait till you were old enough to understand. And then, well, there was that day with Stella and your powers came back and you went right off to Althea so quickly before we could sit down and talk with you.
Let me tell you something important, sweetie. We did talk to you about the real magic that happened that day. That we found you, and you found us, and that we became a family together.
Bloom, sweetie, we love you so much.
I love you guys too.
Yeah, Bloom, why are you so down? If you ask me, that was a really beautiful story. I think you and your parents have a really terrific relationship.
You talk about real things with them.
Girl, your Earth friends sound like really awesome people.
That's just it, my Earth parents, you see?
This new info's got you curious about your birth parents, hasn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. I'm probably not even from Earth.
So then what were you doing in a fire in Gardenia?
That's what I'd like to know, Techna. Who put me there? Was my dad meant to find me? And what was that voice?
You may never find the answers. You know that, Bloom.
Would that stop you from looking?
Probably not.
No matter what it takes, I want to find out. Where did I come from? What realm and what part of the universe? I have to find out about my origins. So, will you help me?
I know I'll help you, Bloom. Sticking my nose in other people's business is my favorite pastime. Well, girls, what do you say? You can count me in, Flora. Of course.
Sign me up.
After all, we're the Winx Club.
The Winx Club.
The Winx Club.
The Winx Club.
Long past. Where have you 3 been?
We were just out for a late night.
Silence!
But you just...
It was a rhetorical question. I know exactly where you've been.
Oh.
I've warned you 100 times when you wreak havoc not to get caught.
I know. It's not going to happen.
I said silence! I'm tired of being trumped by Farragonda and having this school embarrassed because you 3 can't get it together. You are hereby kicked out of this school. Now get out of my sight.
Thinking of quitting Althea.
What do you mean?
I didn't feel like I belonged. Then I went back home and I found out who I really am and where I come from. Now, I kind of wish I hadn't. I'm a member of the royal family of Sparks, and that's cool, but I am the last one left. And apparently, I'm the keeper of a power called the Dragonfire. And Daphne, you know, the nymph who's been calling for me in my dreams and stuff, she gave it to me.
Yes, I suspected as much, Bloom.
You knew something about this? Then why didn't you say anything to me?
I wanted to, Bloom, but I've always believed the truth comes to us when we are ready to hear it.
Maybe, but I wasn't ready to hear it, especially not from those 3 witches.
What 3 witches? What are you talking about?
I see Darcy and Stormy followed me to Gardenia. They're the ones who told me everything. They attacked me and then they took the Dragonfire. They said they were going to use it to summon some magical army or something.
Not the army of decay.
That's it. What's that mean?
It means we are all in very grave danger.
Bloom's room, how may I help you?
Hey, Stella, is Bloom there?
I'm sorry, Bloom is unavailable right now.
Would you give her a message for...
Go now, Brandon, or Prince Sky, or whoever you are.
Born, Sparks was still filled with pure magic. But then the Coven launched a sneak attack. They took over the entire planet and destroyed everything.
was once the most magical place in the universe became lifeless. The king called on me to save you and to guard the dragon fire. I took you and the flame, and I brought you to the last place anyone would look for a magical creature. I delivered you to Earth. It was the place where your destiny was waiting. A destiny that would nurture and care for you, and that would prepare you to one day return to Sparks to reclaim your throne.
Zelda, have you had any luck locating Stella and the others?
I've looked everywhere. They're nowhere on campus.
Goodness, I hope they aren't in any kind of trouble.
They'll be in trouble as soon as I find them.
Oh, as a princess, I had to learn hundreds of languages.
I can say, do you have this in a size 4 in 10 different languages? But I'm afraid that's about it.
I wasn't even allowed to pick out my own clothes. My parents only wanted me to look one way.
Prim and proper, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's it. It was such a drag.
Did you have to, stand up straight and laugh at jokes you thought were dumb? That old-fashioned princess stuff is so last century.
Yeah, I couldn't stand it. I used to get so restless all the time.
Speaking of which, what do you say we get out of here and hit the mall? And you can buy whatever outfit you and I like, okay? But in my realm, girls don't really make the first move. It's sort of a rule.
You know, it's so hard to tell which rules you can follow, which ones you can bend, and which ones you can break.
Aren't you supposed to follow all the rules?
I don't know. What about that rule that says you're supposed to follow your heart?
Well, my heart is telling me that Helia might be the one, and I should just give him the letter and tell him that I'm totally in... That's when my dad first saw her.
Excellently done. This new soprano of yours truly has a remarkable gift. Her voice is incredible. As long as she sticks to the classics and stays within the canon, she'll be one of the greats.
My father was a prince. When he chose the path of a musician, his family disowned him. But any doubts he had about his decision vanished when he first saw my mother perform.
Hi, excuse me. I've been working on this sort of, I guess you could call it a pop song, and I was thinking how perfect it would be for someone as amazing as...
Okay, I'd love to hear it. Why don't we get together tomorrow and you can play it for me?
Huh?
Dad hadn't actually finished the song, so he stayed up all night working on it. It was called Magic in My Heart. Mom came by the next morning and instantly fell in love with the melody. And with Dad. So there they were, a couple of rebels. She rejected her classical training and he rejected his royalty. All for each other and for the music they loved. That's when I came into the picture. They had a hit single burning up the charts, so they took some time off for me. A couple of years later, they put together a real stripped-down, almost classical record. But during the tour, Mom got sick.
Oh, darling!
I remember Dad trying real hard to be the calm guy who could keep it together. The guy you could lean on for support. But on her last morning, Dad lost it. He broke every instrument in the house, threw out all our records and CDs, burned all the songbooks. He was like, no more music ever. My concert was a big hit. And you know what, Mom? When I sang that song, I felt like the three of us were together again, and it made me so happy.
It made me happy, too.
Bloom, we're your best friends. You know what, Flora? Take your touchy-feely good vibration, let's all hug it out, goody-goody-goodiness, and save it for someone who might actually care to listen to your pathetic nonsense. Flora, please don't listen to her. That's not Bloom talking.
It's time, Kerbog. Get down there and get that codex right away.
Why don't you fight? We're trying to... Is it because I'm more powerful than all 5 of you combined? All right, Bloom, I'm sorry, but you're asking for it now. Solar flare!
And why did Lord Darkar hold you prisoner?
I'm not sure, but please, you have to believe me.
You're saying there's been an imposter teaching here at Althea this whole time? I'm sorry, but tell me why I should believe you.
I have proof. It's the letter you sent me offering me the teaching position at Althea.
That's my signature. Oh, this letter's authentic.
If he actually is the real Professor Avalon, what's the imposter doing at Althea?
Darkar must be using him to get information. How else could he have found all 4 pieces of the codex so easily?
So this imposter was pretending to help Bloom, but he was probably the one who made her take Althea's codex in the place.
He did spend a lot of time with Bloom. He must have been the one who put her under that dark spell.
You know something? He also must have faked being sick to get Libby to go to the Pixie Village.
It was all a plan. It was the only way that Darkar could find the location of Pixie Village.
I just can't believe that our teacher is some sort of evil spy.
I believe it. I've always been suspicious of him.
But how did he fake all that? Seriously, he really is a great teacher.
Of course he is. Darkar's magic is so powerful, it's capable of great deception.
Why is the fake Avalon still at Althea? Why is he here when they have all the parts of the Codex?
Darkar must need something else.
What do you mean by that? Like, what else could he want?
He wants Bloom.
Huh?
That's why he sent the witches to the resort realm, to get Bloom and kidnap her.
Where is she? Girls, where is Bloom now? Things that you need to know about Baltor. Things that connect him to you.
Baltor said something like that on Tides, but I didn't know what he was talking about.
This book will explain to you what happened. What you see here is the Company of Light, a brave order made up of the best of the heroes, fairies, and sorcerers, and founded to fight Baltor and the 3 ancient witches.
Baltor was with the ancient witches?
Yes, they are the ones who created him. You see, just like you, Baltor's power comes from the dragon fire, only his comes from an ember that was mixed with darkness. The witches took that dark ember and used it to create him. Now, the Company of Light was founded by your birth parents, Oratel and Miriam, in order to defend and protect your planet. As you know, the ancient witches destroyed Sparks, but they didn't do it without a valiant and heroic fight from Oratel and Miriam.
How do you know all of this?
Because I was a member of the Company of Light along with Griffin and Saladin, and it was with your parents that we faced Baltor in his final battle.
Miss F, you were with my parents in that final battle?
Yes, Bloom, but we were knocked out, and it was your parents who defeated Baltor and locked him away in the Omega Dimension. But the price of that victory was very high, as Oratel and Miriam never returned that day.
Layla, what's going on?
We have this tradition in Tides, but I never thought my parents would enforce it. But today, they told me that they have picked out the guy who they expect me to marry. The thing is, I never met this guy or his family. All I know is that his name is Naboo, and that my life is gonna be ruined forever.
I am fearless and open to my powers. I'm not through with you, Sunshine Girl. Untie me at once if you're brave enough to fight one-on-one.
Chimera, be quiet for once in your life.
Guards, take these traitors to the dungeon. They will face justice from the Solarian Court.
Guards didn't come here to arrest me. They came to take me back home. You see, I ran away and came here a little over a month ago when my parents sent them to find me. Layla, I come from Andros, and my real name is Naboo.
I know you come from Andros, but wait a minute, Naboo, but then...
Yes, I am your fiancé. But after our parents arranged the marriage, I was upset, so I rebelled and ran away.
That's pretty bold of you.
I always believed people should marry who they truly love. I came here because I wanted to see who was that horrible person my parents had picked for me to marry.
And was she as horrible as you had imagined?
Worse. I fell in love with her. Layla, I'm sorry I lied to you. Please forgive me. I never meant to mislead you.
Enchantix powers are still incomplete, but the courage you showed on Tides tells me that you're ready, Bloom. I believe you now have what it takes to enter the dark realm of the ancient witches, break their spell, and finally find your birth parents.
I think I'm ready. Mom, Dad, I feel like we're going to meet very soon.
Feels like magic.
You were able to pull the royal sword from its stone. Then you saved me and brought the kingdom back to life. Cousin Aisha!
Thank you. Thank you.
Yay! Crown Prince Nereus.
My father's sword.
But it is yours now. Take it, Nereus.
Cousin Aisha, you used this sword to free us from my brother's spell. I vow to use it to free the Infinite Ocean from all of Tritanus' evil.
I will fight with you, Nereus. Guardian of Cyrenix.
I heard you crying. I know you're upset.
No, Guardian. It's Sky. In Diasporo. She's coming between us. Oh.
Oh, do you think Sky is interested in her?
Well, no.
Then what are you worried about? You love Sky. Sky loves you. Trust in that, even when you disagree.
Wow.
You are a disgrace. I relieve you of duty.
It's not fair! This is your fault, Bloom! You always ruin everything for me! Hey, watch out!
No!
Fire!
My trident!
Tritanus' pollution! It's gone.
Aisha! Daphne! You're free!
Tritanus, you brought great evil to the magic dimension and all who live here. But through the efforts of many good people, you have been defeated.
And now, my son, you must be punished for what you have done.
Brother, do you have anything to say?
Only that I'm sorry I didn't crush all of you when I had the chance.
Oh, Tritanus.
Tritanus, you leave us no choice. We banish you from the magic dimension.
You will pass through the gate of oblivion and never return.
I wish to break the Cyrenix curse and end its legacy forever.
Before Red Fountain, when we were kids, Thorn and I went to school together. One day we were out in the woods of Heraklion looking for animal tracks. Then, out of nowhere, we were attacked. In the middle of the fight, he just left me there. Without him there, I barely escaped.
You know what? I heard a fairy lives here. Really? I want to be a fairy when I grow up. Look at me! Look at me! I'm flying! I'm a fairy!
I sensed in you both a strong magical potential.
Huh? Look, Bloom!
But with Selena, I knew that she could benefit from extra guidance along the way. So I decided to become her fairy godmother and take her under my wing. I started by teaching her small spells at first. And then, we progressed into much bigger ones. Oh, Selena, dear, you did it! Now, please be gentle with the landing.
I bet that left a bruise.
It sounds like Selena was learning to be a good fairy.
So why the change?
I was the keeper of the Alexandria Library. I brought Selena there and showed her the Legendarium. Though I had only heard about its powers, but never had I tried to use it until that very day. A long time ago, there lived a hawk spirit, a dangerous being. Oh! Legendarium!
Fairy godmother! He's real!
He certainly is, isn't he?
What do we do?
legendarium really was. I traveled all over the world.
Looking for a way to lock it.
Yes, but once I returned from my search, things took a turn for the worse.
Selena. In here. Hello, Selena.
What? Who are you?
I'm Acheron. Work with me, and I'll teach you how to harness all the powers of the Legendarium.
Really? You can do that?
Why, of course, Selena. I can give you the most extraordinary powers right this very moment.
Show me what you got.
Now you are the Witch of Snakes.
Selena? Selena, what were you doing?
Nothing. Just reading.
But that's Acheron. He is the evil sorcerer who created the Legendarium, only to be trapped inside these very pages. You must stay away from this book, Selena. Understood? Oh, but I felt a change in her. She was not the fairy she used to be. An evil power was lurking deep inside her. One night, in the light of a full moon, Selena declared her loyalty to Acheron.
I choose you, Acheron. Huh?
And with that, she stole the Legendarium and fled from the Forest of Flowers.
I know you can hear me. Listen, sweetheart. You better fix this situation and get us out.
I think we've heard enough.
Agreed.
The key! It won't turn!
Bet it's that Rumpelstiltskin. If he gave you the wrong key, I'm gonna get that little... Well, maybe it's not the key, but the person who turns it. Let me try.
Go ahead, Selena. We trust you.
Hold on! Think of what you're doing! You'll be sorry, fairy!
You did it, Selena! The Legendarium is locked for good!
Ashara! She thought she had lost everything, but she didn't realize she had the most important thing. Someone who loved her.
Something has changed in Berphilius's heart.
It was a hard journey, but useful. Now I know who I am and what my purpose is. Or was, rather.
What do you mean?
I found out the truth, and it's horrible. I'm the last princess of Domino, ma'am. The keeper of the dragon flame. That's why my sister Daphne the nymph gave me that crown at Lake Rocaluce. That crown was the symbol for which she sacrificed her life.
Yes, but you embody that symbol.
You mean you know my history? Why in the world didn't you tell me?
Bloom, sometimes the search for the truth is more important than the truth itself. If I told you earlier, you wouldn't have been able to understand.
So you're saying it was better for me to find things out through the three witches?
What three witches? What are you talking about?
I see Darcy and Stormy followed me to Gardenia and took away the power I was meant to protect. The dragon flame is in their hands. Oh, those three witches are no mere students. A strange light shines in their eyes. They're crazy, ma'am. Crazy like the three old witches who destroyed Domino way back when. And now what's going to happen?
I don't know, but this doesn't bode well for magics.
Your destiny has always been to be the keeper of the dragon flame, the power which keeps the magic dimension safe from the forces of evil. The three ancient witches, the first creatures of evil known to the dimension, tried to steal the power of the flame, but failed. However, they did succeed in destroying Domino. The witches eventually overpowered Daphne, but before they could do so, she managed to save your life. the king and queen of Domino, convinced they had lost both their daughters, chose to go into exile to grieve. Today, they still pine for their beloved girls.
Well, you know, I'm the Princess of Andros.
Quite a few of us are princesses, and yet take Bloom, for instance. She can barely say please.
In Andros, a princess doesn't get to do much. Right from birth, I was trained to be one thing.
A mistress of etiquette.
Yeah, that's it. It was such a bore.
Not true.
Spending all day standing up straight and saying, yes, ma'am, yuck.
A princess should be seen and not heard, don't I know it?
I couldn't cope. I had to break free one way or another.
Don't worry about that anymore, because you've got us now.
Yeah, and we'll make sure you get to have fun, Layla.
Why? But I'm scared of talking to Helia. I know it's stupid.
We all do stupid things sometimes. Today I made music come with me to a dangerous dance club.
Why? Were you afraid of going alone?
Not of going alone, of being alone.
Huh? What do you mean?
When I was a little girl, my only friend had to move away. Ever since then, I haven't had a single friend I could dance with. But now that I'm part of the Winx, I know that I have nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I shouldn't be afraid to admit it. I really like Helia. I think I'm in love. Huh? Never mind.
My dad was a young musician who happened to see my mom's first concert.
Hey, hi. You see, I wrote this piece for cello and voice, and I was wondering if you might want to sing it so that I...
All right, but I'm going back home tomorrow afternoon. How about tomorrow morning?
In fact, Dad hadn't composed anything at all, so he had to write the whole song in one night. The piece was nothing special, but Mom liked to sing it anyway. Mom and Dad had a storybook romance. They were so in love. They lived and worked side by side, but after a while, work became scarce, and their music careers didn't pay enough. Dad wanted nothing more than to see Mom fulfill her dreams.
And that's when you came into the picture?
Even though they were very poor, they were very happy to have me. Dad used to say that the day I was born was the happiest of his life. Then what? What happened? Mom got sick. We barely had enough money to buy food, so never mind medicine. Mom died. There was nothing we could do. Dad never got over it. He didn't play a single note ever again, and I became the only thing in his life.
And you've been in Darkar's dungeon for how long?
I can't. I'm not sure. Several months at least.
So you claim to be the real Professor Avalon, but can you prove it? Or do you expect me to just take your word for it?
I have this. The letter you sent me about my transfer to Althea. It's signed by you.
Yes, it is the letter. We have a spy in our midst.
But our professor can't be Darkar's shadow spy. He's a good teacher, and he's helped us more than once.
That's very true. But if I remember correctly, he first showed up in Darkar's cavern. Now, that's quite a coincidence.
And remember what Bloom said? They never figured out why the pixies were free. It was all part of Darkar's deception.
Yes. And there was also the time when the pixies fell under a homesickness spell, Bloom's hypnosis.
But that doesn't make sense. Wasn't it Avalon who freed Bloom from that hypnotic spell?
Wait, but of course, now I get it. You said that Avalon was able to wake Bloom up just like that, huh? But dispelling such a powerful magic spell cannot be done quickly, unless he were the one who cast it in the first place.
Let me get this straight. He did all that just to earn our trust?
Then he could fool Bloom and the pixies. It's a logical plan.
But we learned so much from him. I mean, how? He was such a great teacher.
Darkar probably used his magic to copy all of my memories, including all of my lesson plans.
And his goal was to find the 4 pieces of the Codex. He didn't consider you a threat, so he didn't mind helping you learn, especially if it meant gaining your trust.
And it worked. Now he's got everything he wanted.
Except Bloom.
Huh?
Don't you see? That's why he had the tricks come after us in the wildlands.
Girls, where is Bloom? She could be in danger. Saltour will not win, ever.
But Daddy can't hear you. All right, that's enough. Solar blast!
For your information, a scepter is not what makes a princess.
It's over, Cassandra. You lost. This is not over, Fairy of the Sun and the Moon. Free me if you're brave enough, and you and I will fight it out.
Chimera, for once in your life, shut up.
Guards, take away those two traitors and bring them to justice.
Valtor will never win, ever!
Don't think for a minute that this is over, Winx Club fairies. Untie me, and I'll show you what real magic can do.
Chimera, for once in your life, zip it.
Guards, take these two witches to their new royal quarters, the dungeon.
These guards didn't come here to arrest me. They came to take me back home. You see, I ran away and came here a little over a month ago, and my parents sent them to find me. Aisha, I come from Andros, and my real name is Naboo.
I know you come from Andros, but wait a minute. Naboo? You mean?
Yup, I'm that Naboo, the one you're supposed to marry someday. But I didn't want an arranged marriage, so I bolted.
Wow, that's pretty brave of you.
I don't know if it was brave, but I wasn't going to just let my parents run my life. I'm not even ready to get married, not for a long time. But I was still curious to see who they picked for me, so I came here.
And what do you think of this girl they picked for you?
I think she's pretty close to perfect. Aisha, I'm sorry I lied to you. I never meant to hurt you. Can you forgive me?
Your Enchantix powers are still incomplete, but what you learned on Pyros has more than made up for it. I think you're ready, Bloom. Ready to break the evil spell of the three ancestral witches and then find your birth parents at last.
I am ready. Mom, Dad, I have a feeling we're going to meet very, very soon.
Your Enchantix powers are still incomplete. On the other hand, what you learned on Pyros has more than made up for it. I think you are ready, Bloom. Ready to break the evil spell of the three ancient witches and then find your birth parents at last.
Yes, I think I'm ready. Mom, Dad, I feel like we're going to meet very, very soon.